Welcome to the Art Elevator. In this week 4 of Accessing Your Creativity, I'd like to introduce a solo episode with Sarah Reeder.
Today, I want to play with language and riff on ways we can expand how we think about the why of creativity. In our current culture, we often think about being creative as linked to an outcome, an output, making something that others will think is good or that we can sell or that will generate some sort of positive external validation in the world or make us money, which is very understandable if you're an artist who has bills to pay. You need money to pay those bills. But I want to think about it in a broader perspective and also consider how often when we focus on the outcome-based view of creativity, we sometimes forget about the inner transformation that creativity can inspire within us and how maybe sometimes that's the point. So just even how we think about the ways that art is received in our culture. Like if you're a person who works for a newspaper writing about art and covering exhibitions and what artists are doing, generally you're called an art critic. Just even in that word, critic. You're not an art celebrator, you're not an art appreciator, you're an art critic. And so there's an inherent aspect of judgment in that role you're going to decide, is this good? Is this bad? How is it good or bad? It's not being met as something that exists in a neutral landscape. Similarly, for people who are in art school, when they come together with their professor and their classmates and show their art, it's called an art critique. Again, that word, there's criticism that is embedded in the language that, at least in the English language, we use to describe how we put artistic things we create out in the world. And I think there's nothing wrong with learning and growing and advancing your skills, but I think the emphasis on judgment and critique and criticism sometimes discourages people from even sitting with their creativity and creating because the resulting criticism just feels too overwhelming or it sucks the joy out of the process for them. And so I wanted to riff here today about how we forget that there is an inner transformation that happens within us when we express ourselves creatively that can be very, very positive. And it's totally independent from the outcome of whether anyone else likes what we've made. We have changed ourselves. We've gone through an inner process of shifting who we are when we take that time to be creative and express ourselves. And in previous cultures and in other mediums, there seemed to be an understanding of this. Like, for example, a lot of work songs and traditional songs in folk music and other cultures, they had a really sophisticated bioengineering element in how they worked, and that they helped keep people's breath in time or helped a group move together in a synchronized way to accomplish a particular action, or helped people be part of a sense of community as they sang together. And there wasn't a music critic sitting there in the corner with a notebook noting who was the best singer and who needed to improve. The outcome and the desired goal was something entirely different. And so I think that in our product-based can I sell this culture is something that we've often lost sight of to the detriment of those inner transformations. And so this week, I ask of you, if no one ever was going to see what you made and you just did it for your own joy and how it would make you feel, what would that be? What would you do? And then take a moment and do it.
Thanks for joining us today on the Art Elevator podcast. We look forward to bringing you further inspiration next time. Until then, happy creating.